He made her call her boyfriend, but she dialed 911 and outsmarted him. What was supposed to be a moment of control and humiliation turned into a brilliant act of survival and justice. 27-year-old Robert Giles abducted a woman from outside a grocery store and forced her into his car. As he drove, he made a chilling demand, "Call your boyfriend. I want him to hear everything that's about to happen." But what he didn't realize was that the woman had other plans. Staying calm under unimaginable pressure, she pretended to follow his command, dialing a number, speaking sweetly, calling the person on the other end baby, but it wasn't her boyfriend. It was 911. The dispatcher immediately picked up on her coded language. While posing as her boyfriend, he kept the conversation going and discreetly dispatched officers to track the call. Meanwhile, Giles drove to a secluded spot behind an adult store near Jonesboro and continued his horrific act, unaware the police were closing in. When officers arrived, they caught him in the act. He was arrested on the spot and now faces multiple serious charges. This woman's quick thinking and the dispatcher's sharp instincts likely saved her life. Let us know what you think in the comments. Should this man ever walk free again?
If I had only known years ago what the answer to this question was, life would be very different. So let's talk about it. First, I want to thank you for this question because so many people think, well, obviously everybody knows that. And you know what? Everybody doesn't know that. If you don't know me, my name is Dr. LaShantika. I'm a transpersonal therapist that specializes in helping people recover from SA and CSA. That's sexual abuse. I'm trying not to say any of these words here. So what is that? What is that? That is any time that you don't give consent. That means I don't feel like doing it right now, and therefore I say, I don't feel like doing it right now. I don't feel good. And they say, but, you did this, and I deserve it, and I can't do it, and you're just teasing me, and blah, 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 blah. That's called coercion. And if you give in to coercion, that person just you. Another time that this happens is when you feel pressured, say that somebody buys you dinner, right? And they feel like you owe them something for that dinner or for that time out, and they take from you what they want, be it full-fledged in the course or just touching, fondling, all of that stuff, and you don't want to. It is not consensual. That is. Or the one that's most popular, somebody forces themselves on you, right? And you are forced to have intercourse, and that happens via any orifice. Any orifice. It doesn't have to be just the one that's popularized. It can be the back one, it can be the mouth one, it can be just any and all of them. And this can be a man or a woman, and it does go both ways. So anytime you are forced to, talked into, made to feel guilty or ashamed for not doing it, and you give in, and I hope that answers your question. And the dating thing before it is simply somebody that you're either going on one date with, or you've gone on many dates, or you could even be married to them. You never owe anybody your body, and nobody owes you theirs.
Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, my name is Miss Kafwe. So ladies, today we're talking about date grape. Hey, let me tell you something. I've never heard of a term like this. Let me tell you, as women, we cannot rest. Every day I find out new traumatizing things like date grape. Have you ever heard of date grape? Maybe I'm late to the class, but hey, let's talk about date grape today, ladies. I mean, as women, we are never resting, we are never safe. Like, it's always a new threat every day. So, but it's important we talk about this. It's even important we talk about this to our young women or young men, you know. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into this video, and then I'll be back to give my take on it.
So dating men as a woman is like a deer dating a lion. And let me clarify that. Men are a woman's apex predator. So when a man is going on a date, he might be concerned about what impression he's making, or where he's going to take her, or, you know, is there food in my teeth or whatever? Or is she annoying? Is she boring? But he's not concerned about his safety the same way a woman's concerned about her safety. And men tend to take this for granted. And it really fucking frustrates me and pisses me off. Because when I ask for a last name or ask for ID, they're like, oh, why can't you just, just trust me? It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's what all the serial killers say, right? Like, and the thing about this society is that we put it on the woman to be safe. Instead of like saying, hey, men, stop killing women, stop raping women, stop hurting women, we put it on the woman to stay safe. So it's like, I can't go to your house because I don't know who's there. I don't know if I'm gonna be safe. I don't know if you might kill me. I can't go out for drinks because you might drug my drink. I can't have you make dinner because I don't know what the fuck you might put in my food, right? I can't meet you at night because you might fucking hurt me. I can't, there's so many things I can't do, right? I have to be cautious of. I can't have you pick me up. I can't have you know my address. I'm not going to your house. I can't have you drive me and get in your car, right? And be in a situation where like I can't go home. Like there's so many things where we have to be hyper vigilant about our safety in addition to getting our eyeliner right? What outfit am I going to wear? What perfume am I going to wear? So it's not just this like heightened state of like, yay, I'm going on a date. What fun. It's also, I have to have my head on a swivel. I don't fucking know you. I have to think about everything you're saying to me. I have to like listen to my intuition, notice every little fucking muscle movement in your eye to assess, am I safe? And I can't get to a place of wanting to make out with you, wanting to take off clothes with you, anything like that, if I don't feel comfortable or safe with you. So we have to start the date from a premise of you might be a murderer. You might be, one of these people that we hear about, all these damn online date things where you're a predator looking for prey, right? Like that might be you. I might be on the date with a murderer right now. I don't fucking know. But you don't have the same worries about if you reject a woman, you're not worried that woman might beat your ass or might kill you or might throw acid on you. You're not worried about that, right? You might hurt her feelings, but that's it. When we reject you or when we feel we don't want to be with you, we have to strategically think about how can I remove myself from a situation that is not going to put me in more danger. It's very, very different. You're not worried what we might do to you if you come to our house. You're not worried about that. You're not worried about getting on our car. You don't have the same concerns that we have. You're like thinking the date might be boring, right? And at best I might get laid. We're thinking, the date might go well. At worst, I might be fucking killed. We are not the same. We are not the same. So when you feel like women are taking a long time getting to know you, vetting you before they want to go on a date and they just immediately want to meet up with you, that's why. And because you're men and the world caters to you, you're not used to thinking about the perspective of other people, and you need to be more thoughtful.
Ladies, here's how you spot a predator on a first date. Please share this video with as many women as possible. I want y'all to be safe out here. Number one, the first date needs to be at a Starbucks over a cup of coffee. That's it. Not a dinner date, not in the nighttime. In the morning, afternoon, well-lit daytime where everybody can see you and him and there's video cameras around. Number two, you need to take an Uber to your date. Never take your car. He doesn't need to know what type of car you drive or what your license plate number is, okay? Take an Uber to the date and you take an Uber after, but you don't take the Uber home. After the date, you take the Uber to a friend's house, preferably a male friend, or the police station. Over the cup of coffee, he should be doing more talking than you. You should be screening and picking him apart as he talks. Over the cup of coffee, he needs to be doing the most talking, not you. Your job is to listen. Start discussing mental health. Ask him how he feels about therapy. Ask him if he's ever had a full-blown evaluation. Ask him if he's a narcissist and would he be willing to be evaluated, for narcissistic personality disorder. If he gets uncomfortable or he hesitates, you already got your answer. And don't take his word for it. Tell him you're going to need to see proof or either meet his therapist. Ask him if he's ever been to prison, if he has a criminal background, anything with domestic violence, rape, burglary, anything of a violent nature, then he's basically a sociopath, and that's very dangerous to you. And if you have children, it's dangerous for your children. You don't want this man in your house. Ask him about his upbringing. What is his relationship with his mother? Because if he has a toxic relationship with his mother, he will take it out on every single woman he dates. Be safe, ladies. If his mother is deceased, then you need to ask him who raised him, because whoever raised him, if they're toxic, trust me, they have ruined him for every woman that he could potentially date in the future. Do not tell him your occupation. It's none of his business. Do not tell him your salary. Do not tell him if you have children, okay? Because a lot of these men get in relationships with single mothers so that they can molest their children. Ask him if he's on Facebook, social media, if he's on dating apps. That's a red flag. Ask him if he has multiple baby mothers, if he's been married before, and if so, what happened? Why did those relationships didn't work out? And ask him, could you meet any of these women from his past? Do not tell him about your relationship history. It's none of his business. If he wants to know anything about you, you tell him about your hobbies and the things that you're into. That's it. Ask him for his first, middle, and last name because you plan on running a criminal background check on him. If you don't hear from him after the first date, the trash took itself out.
Where do your trust issues come from?
My daughter's mom date raped me at a party.
So that means you didn't know about your daughter?
No, I found out when I got some papers in the mail from the OG office telling me to take a paternity test on my birthday.
Okay, so if you don't mind explaining this to me, because I know this is probably shocking for a lot of y'all, because when we hear things about like date rape, it's usually women being raped by men. We often don't get the stories of men being told. So what happened to you? Can you start from the beginning?
Yeah, so on social media, there was a party, and I went to the party, and she ended up pilling my drinks, and I woke up in the hospital.
And what happened when you woke up in the hospital?
They told me that I got date raped. I had an oxygen machine on, my stomach was being pumped, and the thing they put on your finger was on me, so.
I want to talk about marital rape. You share throughout your book how your ex's abuse would strategically, verbally, and physically break you down. And then he would want to have sex with you. Do you think sex for him was his ultimate act of control?
I do. In the beginning, I felt like that was his way of apologizing because, like I said, he never apologized. He never would say he was sorry. So I felt like when we would have sex, that was his way of apologizing. But as time went on, I knew it was more about the control.
Oh, yeah.
After each abusive episode, after each verbal attack or emotional attack, he would come to me for sex. He knew that I was depleted. He knew that I wanted to be loved. Eventually, like I said, I realized that the sex was about control because there were times when we were having sex, I would say no to something and he would just say, well, just let me do what I want to do. And I knew that if I didn't just let him do what he wanted to do, it would become abuse. And I really didn't want the abuse to, even though that is abuse, in my mind, I didn't realize, that it was abuse.
You want to know what grape culture is? The fact that my abuser told multiple people what he had done to me, and yes, he used the R word, and only one person told him it was wrong. He told one of his male friends what he'd done to me and said he was worried that I was going to go to the police, and this guy said it's bad, but not that bad. These things happen. Excuse me, sir, these things happen about literal grape? And don't think women are let off the hook on this, because best believe this man told his own mother what he had done to me and said that he had SA'd me, and yes, he used those words, and his mother said that no one would believe me anyway and that God would forgive him if he was sorry. Like, what? The person who did stand up to him was a mutual friend of both of ours, and as a thanks for this, he was then threatened by my abuser so that he would delete the messages and then subjected to homophobic insults. So yeah, this is what we mean when we talk about grape culture. It doesn't mean that everyone is a grapist, but rather too many people are willing to make up excuses or turn a blind eye when it's convenient to them, and it has to stop.
See, every time a woman is raped, there is always a goat somewhere who is always asking, what was she wearing? That's a very disgusting question, because it shifts the blame from the rapist, the criminal, to the victim. And that's cowardly. A woman could be wearing a miniskirt, sweatpants, hijab, a school uniform, and rape still happens. Why? Because it was never about her clothes. It was never about her dressing. It was always about someone choosing to ignore her consent. Clothes don't cause rape. People do. And if your first instinct is to judge what she wore rather than condemn what he did, then you are not a protector. You are part of the problem. Stop excusing evil.
Y'all really out here slipping Mickeys and date rapes and people drinks. Like, y'all women be careful because they still doing this. So this girl, she just out here and she was just telling me like, yeah, you know, I was finna go on a date with this dude, but he was weird. Like, girl, he didn't want to meet at the restaurant. He wanted to pick me up from my house, and I told him I didn't feel comfortable. So he told her he'll catch her later. She was like, okay, bye, good night. So they supposed to have said good night or whatever. He texted her back and he was all like, well, the food was good. She's like, I don't give a fuck. I said good night. Thumbs down, right? So he didn't text her for a whole week and a half, and she ain't responded. She was just showing me like, and that made me think about when my homegirl had went on a date or whatever, and she had went on a date. They was at the bar talking to the bartender, watch the bartender make the drinks or whatever. All he did was pay for the drink, reach for it, and hand it to her. But somehow in the midst of that, he slipped the date rape in her cup, right? Right. So she had a wig on, so she had her earpiece in. She called her sister. She get in the car. Sister say hello. So she telling him like, please take me home. I think something like the food we ate or something, you know, did something to my stomach. I'm not feeling well. I'm feeling a little woozy whoopty wow. He like, all right, but he not going to her house. He going another way. So the sister ain't asking no questions. She listening to the conversation with him or whatever. But she heard the distress in her sister voice. So she hop up, put her shoes on, follow the location. Never turn your location off, ladies. I don't care if you with your sneaky link your mission. I don't give a fuck. Location could save your life. Okay. So the sister followed them, get to a light, and was like, hey, this my sister, let her up out this motherfucking car. Now the girl didn't want to go to the police because she was ashamed, like most women are. Do never feel ashamed for somebody trying to take advantage of you. Right. So that was one instance. Another instance was the girl went out in St. Louis. She had one drink. She said she only remember having one drink. When she woke up the next morning, it was like 5, 6 in the morning. She was buying panties in the middle of North St. Louis. Now they dropped off her purse. The purse was still there. The money was in the purse. The gun was in the purse. She don't know what happened. She can't tell you to this day what happened, right? Listen, don't trust nobody buying you no drink. Everything that's good to you ain't good for you. This shit is real. And not only are they essaying people, sometimes people become mentally messed up when somebody slip that stuff in their drinks. I got a cousin to this day. He ain't been the same since somebody slipped something in his drink. We see it all the time. Half of these people we see on the streets, they don't be drug addicts and alcoholics. They be mentally ill because somebody did mess them up by slipping something in their drink. And I'm not saying it's all men. Ladies, be careful. Men, be careful. It can happen to anybody. I just want everybody to be on alert.
They come to our country and they rape our women. Are they? Are they? This is a list of convicted rapists from 2011 to 2018. Rape of a female aged 18 and under, majority white. 16 and over, majority white. In fact, every single list, majority white. Under 13, majority white. Again, if you look at every single category on that list, every single person is majority white. All of my abusers, guess what colour they were? They were all white. Every single fucking one of them. So maybe we should stop blaming ethnicity groups coming to the UK seeking refuge from a country that's unsafe for them being the problem for violence against women. This is coming from a domestic abuse victim of rape, victim of sexual assault. Reform does my head in.
Women's greatest fear is being alone, not being with the wrong person. And our greatest fear is being with the wrong person.
Statistically, one of the most dangerous decisions a woman will ever make is the partner she chooses. Despite what you may think or want to believe, the first suspect police look for when a woman is murdered is not a stranger in a dark alley. It's a partner or an ex-partner, because 9 out of 10 women who are murdered by someone they know. The majority of those at the hands of a husband, a boyfriend, or ex-partner. 1 of every 3 women has experienced domestic violence. So while men fear heartbreak or divorce, women fear for their lives if they choose wrong. And I say choose wrong because we love blaming women for choosing wrong. But the reality is that abusers don't come out swinging on the first date. The most dangerous men hide who they are until they believe they have that woman trapped. I've talked to women who were hit for the first time on their wedding night. 1 out of 6 cases of domestic violence start during pregnancy. People wonder why I talk about domestic violence on my page so much as a self-defense instructor. And it's because of these unfortunate facts. Not all men are abusers, and women can be abusive too. But 1 out of 3 women is a significant stat. Are there women who will stay with someone because they're afraid of being alone? Absolutely. But most women aren't terrified of being alone. They're terrified of finding their Prince Charming, to find out years later that he's actually a wolf in sheep's clothing.
12 men came together and decided to grape 2 girls. I know now you have concluded that they are hookup girls or that they went to a party or whatever. My dear, what if I told you that these girls went to the church? They went for a night vigil. Yes, and these 12 men are church members. And you'll be wondering, why didn't they leave? Actually, their pastor was one of the 12 men who asked them to stay back. I mean, when you go to church and your pastor tells you to stay back after church service, would you think so much about it? But while they were sitting down there, waiting for their pastor, they kept on hearing, in the office, they kept on hearing about JKJ, but then they didn't know about JKJ. So they were like, they didn't think so much of it, and they ended up getting gang raped. And you now, you're thinking that it's only in parties and clubs that girls can get raped. I know now, you're probably calling me a liar because you didn't hear the story. But of course now, those men actually told them at the end of everything that if they told anybody, nobody's gonna believe them. I mean, it's the church now. If I come and tell you now that your pastor is a rapist, won't you fight me? Won't you fight me? Of course you will. Because according to you, the man of God is not a human being. According to you, nothing can ever happen to you in the church. They play. This is 2024. Shine your eyes. Be at an alert. Good.
I saw this girl saying she's never been hit or beaten in a relationship by a man, and she starts like telling tips and like the signs and going through like her experiences. So I want to tell y'all a couple of my heart goes out to anybody that has experienced domestic violence, sexual violence, all that. Like, this is not at all to feel like I'm better or like a one-upping kind of thing. So guy number one, I was not seeing him for a long time, but while I was seeing him in the beginning, I was training with somebody else, but he knew that person as well. Like, we both knew this person, and me and him was training in the gym, me and this guy that we both knew. Throughout the relationship though, he constantly like kept bringing this up and like being mad about it. And I remember one night he was at my crib and he was really, really drunk. And he was just like, oh, like, you gonna keep going to the gym with this dude? You thought you was gonna be going to the gym with this dude? I'll beat both of y'all to fuck up. That man ain't been back here since. Because if you saying you would, that means you could. And you will if I don't get you the fuck up out of here. Guy number two. I did that prank. You know, the I'm so hungry I could eat I'm thinking I'm gonna get a regular reaction. You know, like everybody else doing it. Oh, like, why would you say that? I had said it, but I used one of his homeboys at the time. Like, this was somebody that he was cool with, but he was also an employee of his. So I'm like, oh, I'm so hungry I could eat, insert employee homeboy name. And he's like, I'll smack the shit out you. Right. Now this dude, I was not able to get rid of as quickly as I was the other dude because we was involved for a lot longer. However, yeah, he's blocked. He's blocked, number blocked, Instagram blocked. I wish I could block him on TikTok if I knew the user numbers, but I don't. So he might see this. I just don't give a fuck. But what do those people have in common? Guy number one said, I will. Guy number two said, I will. Most of the time, these motherfuckers will tell you before they do it. They will soft launch the shit. Like, most of the time, not all the time. The little microaggressions, you can notice the getting upset over little things, the amount that they can go from 0 to 100. When they say shit like that or when they act out like that, that's your sign. You don't want to find out. You don't want to know what's on the other side of that coin. Okay? Never give a man the benefit of the doubt when he says an ounce of a threat. Bye. Your husband would never.
Rape is worse than murder. You kill someone, they're dead. Some people might miss him. For the most part, everyone moves on. You rape someone, everyone is dead. No one moves on. Especially these days where getting a rape conviction is as rare as a Boris abortion. You rape a woman, she's the walking dead. Everyone is dead. It ruins her relationships with everyone. She cannot maintain any kind of social structure. She tells her family they're dead. She doesn't tell her family, still dead. Rape is like a scam you cannot talk about. And that scammer keeps coming back for more in your head. Okay, that woman's psyche goes from linear to parabolic. She cannot move on. It stays with you like Clarkson shit. Rape is brutalist to the mind and body of everyone in that bubble. Watch Kamau Bell's documentary on Bill Cosby. Case in point, Lily Bernard. This is what 40 or 50 years after Cosby raped her. She could not bring herself to even talk about it. She couldn't look into the camera. She was fidgety. Just thinking about that episode in her life broke her. She wanted to die. That's rape.
I've never made a TikTok before, and I'm only doing so today because something really terrifying recently happened to me, and it's something that apparently is happening more and more to women in our country, and I feel the need to share my story so that I can be part of helping to prevent this from happening to other people, including my 3 daughters and their friends. Last month when I was in Florida, a friend and I walked to a nearby restaurant where we hung out for a little while, and eventually our drinks were poisoned with a date rape drug. Thankfully, we made it home that night, and it could have been so much worse, but what it wasn't great either. We basically just kind of collapsed on the floor in the foyer of my home, stayed there for the better part of the night, and then it wasn't until a family member checked in on us the next day that we could basically take action to kind of help ourselves. So we called the police and did an at-home drug test, which was positive for a lesser-known date rape drug. And when the police came, they didn't know to tell us to go to the hospital because they didn't know that my at-home test wouldn't be admissible in court, which is sad. So no, we can't really do anything about it. But with just only 3 minutes to talk, what I really want to do is just educate you on what I found out after this happened to me, because I really want to keep this from happening to other people. First, don't go out alone. If you do, sit at the bar, keep an eye on your drinks. If you do have to get up from the table or wherever you are, don't leave your drink unattended. Have someone watch it. And then carry some tests with you. On Amazon, I found these little test strips that are available for like $16. You can literally just stick the test strip on your purse or your phone, and then, drop a little of the drink on it to test it for drugs while you're out. Call 911 if you suspect you've been drugged. And lastly, if you feel that you've been drugged, you can maybe take something like this all-natural supplement, which kind of helps purify your system and pull out the drugs, so to speak. I'm not a medical professional, so just do your research on that. And lastly, just make sure you get tested at a medical facility of some sort, urgent care, a hospital, your doctor's office. But that's so important because you can't prosecute the assholes who did this to you without that, okay? So please share this with your girlfriends. I'm hoping that by sharing this and the algorithm, we'll be able to get the word out. Thank you. Be safe.
It's never a good time to put your hands on a woman, but the fact that this man put his hands on a woman because she came home with some flowers for Valentine's Day and he still stated he ain't get her nothing, you really mad at her because somebody else is doing for her what you would and you consider yourself as her boyfriend. Listen to this. So a lady came home with a dozen of roses, right? And her boyfriend went up the wall, through the roof, went to calling her all type of names, putting his hands on her, had them bruised her up black and blue, right? She called the police. He told the police yeah, no, I didn't get her nothing for Valentine's Day. He did all that. Ain't get her nothing for Valentine's Day. Mad somebody did, and the whole time it was her manager at her job, a woman, who got her some roses because she's a good person. She's a good employee. How you put your hands on somebody because you ain't want to celebrate Valentine's Day and mad that you think somebody else went above and beyond for her and showed appreciation to her? You think it's a man, but it really was a woman. It don't matter who bought her something, you didn't. I don't understand how men can treat you like crap but be terrified if they feel like you talking to somebody else doing something for you. Excuse me? And I'm talking about the lady all knotted up. Stuff like that just be so crazy to me.
Okay, so this is going to be sensitive and I've added a trigger warning. So within South Asian women and other cultures, there's an extreme distaste for sex. I've thought a lot about this, and after watching documentaries and TV shows and movies and talking to people, I've come up with some reasons why. In South Asian culture, sex is done to a woman. It's not a mutual exchange. In some movies, we'll see other women saying, well, why don't you keep your man happy in the bedroom? From a young age, South Asian women have been taught that their role is to keep their man happy. There has never been discussion about how pleasure in sex should be a mutual thing. And so women grow up with this notion that it is their responsibility to engage in this in order to keep the man happy, even if they don't want to. And that is why the concept of marital rape doesn't make sense to them. Because to them, they don't see it as being forced, they see it as their responsibility and their obligations as a wife. And often this is very painful for them and leaves them feeling very disgusted. And this is why they might have such a negative view on it, because they don't see it as pleasure. And this is why they might judge other girls for premarital sex. They may not understand the concept of intimacy. And this is very much still an issue. I could go on and on about this.
I've met far too many men on American university campuses who honestly think date rape is okay. That's sick. I am convinced. That's evil. But their explanation is, oh, come on, man. Come on, she has it coming to her. Oh, come on, man. I got a high testosterone level. So just lighten up, Cliff. I say, no, I ain't going to lighten up on you. I'm going to get in your face and try and convince you that for you to date rape is evil. Because that's a woman created in the image of God. That's not a sex toy that you use to get a thrill. That's a human being, and you don't rape her ever.
So apparently, I'm the cool mom. I'm the mom that my kids' friends come and tell me all their problems, which I think is great. But at the same time, y'all, I don't know how to deal with this. Like, I'm not their mom. I can give them advice, but I don't know what to do. So we got another public service announcement for the moms of teens. Apparently there was a subject missed in school, or just, like a subsection. Date rape. Yeah, we're going to address that right now. So I had a little girl come to me and tell me that her boyfriend said that it is okay for him to force himself on her, hold her down while he's doing the thing until he's done, because they're dating. Oh, honey, no, that is not okay. That is never okay. That will never, never, ever be okay. Leave that piece of shit. Because number one, that's lies, and we don't take that kindly. Don't let boys lie to you. Don't let them rape you. Don't let them assault you. Come on. See through their bullshit. Y'all are too young to be doing this. Oh, it breaks my heart hearing these stories. It really does. Moms, you gotta talk to your teens. You really do. Because I'm hearing this way too often and it's breaking my damn heart. This isn't okay. I'm guessing it was missed during COVID, maybe. I don't know. But we need to cover that date rape is not acceptable. Ever. I told this girl that if my husband did that to me, I'd be filing for divorce the next day. Thankfully, she said that put it into perspective. So, hopefully she leaves the shitbag. And moms, please talk to your boys. Or dads, even. Dads, especially. Talk to your boys. They might take it from you. Apparently, women mean nothing. Like, where's the respect? I don't know. Whew. Okay, that's my public service announcement. I could go on for days because this is a topic that gets me just fired up. But anyway, we're going to go process all this information now. Bye.
Me and my best friend were just talking about how it seems like the more that you want a guy, the less they want it from you. And we're always told, like, oh, like, don't hook up with a guy on the first date because then he'll, like, think it's easy and then he won't want you anymore. And I feel like we got to start calling that what it actually is. The more that you show interest in hooking up with a guy, the less they will want that from you. Then you have to look at the inverse of that, and the inverse means that the less you want it, the more they will want it. That is the ideology that leads to rape. Like, we have to actually start calling that what it is. Like they don't want women to be active participants in this. They want to work for it. They want to scheme into it. They want to scam you into it. And if they're not doing that, then it's not fun. And we just take that as like, yeah, that's just what happens. That's just how it goes. And we have to kind of like play the game with them and make them chase us. But that is literally rape culture. Like, that's not good. And yeah, that's not our fault. That's literally has nothing to do with us, ladies. But yeah, we have to really start thinking about that. That's not good.
When I said that rape has been decriminalized in the UK, this is exactly what I meant. These kinds of cases. And just for reference, this is the diagram that I put up on the original post when I was talking about this. And it shows the rape and sexual assault reports going up and the charges and convictions going down. So that's between 1985 and 2019. A more recent document from the House of Commons Library talking about violence against women and girls showing that 264% increase between 2009-10 and 23-24. These men groomed this young girl and live streamed her sexual assault and have somehow managed to escape a prison sentence. Now, the thing that really shows you, I think, how the misogyny is ingrained in the culture and the institutions is when you look at the statement that the investigating detective put out on the back of this. Just have a look at it for a second. This is what they call injustice, by the way.
I've never really put out a story like this or like any of my real personal business besides, the people that actually know me. But I'm just gonna go out and say it. Wednesday night I went out to Caribbean night with somebody. We went to this lounge called The Flat. I was Ubered from my house to his house, and then from there we just carpooled to the lounge. And when we had arrived there, everybody pretty much like knows him and things like that. Mind you, he is like a customer from my job, and he had just invited me to Caribbean night. And I've never really went to any Caribbean outing since I've been here in Houston, so I thought that it was, just wanted to enjoy my time. So we get there, I have 2 drinks of Casamigos and Sprite. One of them I had seen the bartender make. The second one, I don't have any recollection if it was given to me or not, but I have no recollection of leaving the lounge, no recollection of getting in this man's car, no recollection of arriving in his apartment. And the next thing I realized is that I wake up the next afternoon with no clothes on. My clothes are spread out in his apartment, living room. I woke up at 12:17 in the afternoon. My phone was dead. And once it finally cut on, I see a message from him asking if I was okay over here. And that was at 11:23. So this man left me unattended in his apartment. And afterwards, I just knew like there was something wrong. I try to make it seem like I'm calm before I hang up the phone. So I eventually go into his medicine cabinet looking for a name or something, anything. I found some pills called diazepam. And I looked up the side effects if you mix it with alcohol, and it can put you in a deep sleep. I'm not saying that's what he used, but he definitely used something on me because me, as somebody who's bartended before, I know my limit. And I'm not getting fucked up off of 2 drinks of Casamigos and Sprite, nor am I gonna black out off of that. I actually have a video of me actually blacked out before, and I couldn't even walk. And this man is telling me that he didn't even help me walk into his apartment, that I walked on my own. Yet you have recollection of everything that happened that night and I don't. But you claim that we were pretty smacked the night before and that the drinks were a little bit stronger than you when you usually go. That shit just don't add up. And I'm sitting here trying so hard not to cry because I think the crying on the internet is corny, but me and my father are trying to repair our relationship. I'm thinking in a situation like this, you should be able to call your daddy or your brother, anybody, any male figure in your family, and let them know about certain shit like this that happens to you. And I couldn't even do that. I was really hesitant. I was hesitant to even call him because I knew, based off of how he is and his reaction to certain things, I knew he wasn't going to be there for me. And he pretty much showed who he really was. And I think I'm just like over it. Yes, I went to the police. I did a police report. I did a rape kit and everything. But I just really wanted to put it out here. Like, please be careful. Be careful about who you go out with. Be careful about what you drink. Don't take a drink from anybody that you didn't see being made for yourself. And just be on your P's and Q's and stay vigilant, because I wasn't. And unfortunately, this had to happen. And I don't even wish this on my worst enemy. I don't. Because there's no way that I don't even look my age. I don't even look like I'm over the age of 18. So you can't tell me at your big ass age, on top of that, you a doctor, like you didn't know no better. Like, if I'm looking lifeless, you basically assaulted a corpse. Like, I'm not conscious. You wanted to feed me a story so you could send me off on a good note. I'm sorry, this shit not finna go that way. But I'm not gonna be making no videos for a while because I really just need to like get my shit together. So I'll talk to y'all soon. I'll see y'all when I can. I love y'all. I appreciate everybody that supports me and follows me and checks in on me. But yeah. Actually, I'm really not done because I'm really frustrated. I don't know what it is with the Caribbean community, but I just want to let you know, after the age of 18, your baby don't stop being your baby. Okay, I'm your child for life. And you have the audacity to sit here and tell me, oh, I knew better. I should have known better. This isn't the first time. At this point, it feels like you're blaming me. And I knew not to even fucking call him. I was so hesitant to even say anything to him. Everybody asking, did you tell your dad? Did you tell your dad? Did you tell my... I can't even tell my parents, bro. In a situation like this, you think you'd be able to tell your parents, like, your parents gonna be on go about you. My parents don't be on go about me. And that's why anything that I go through, I try to keep it to myself. Oh my God, I hate crying like this. But I try to keep it to myself because I feel like I'm hard body. I can handle it on my own, but really I can't always handle it on my own. And I would have thought my dad would have been there for me, but that wasn't the case, and I should have known better. But just be careful, please.
This video, if you haven't seen it on your For You page, is an entire lesson of what happens when you ignore red flags. Clearly.
It happened to me. So a while ago, I met this dude through Facebook. We were talking through Facebook Messenger for about a week or so before we actually hung out. He had made plans for us to go to the movies. So I decided to see him because I really liked him, even though we haven't met in person yet. But our conversations were like fire, baby. But anyway, when he gets to my house, he texts me that he's outside waiting for me. But it's a change of plans. We're not going to the movies no more. I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool, we might just go somewhere else, it's fine. So when I get outside, I notice that there is somebody sitting in the passenger seat, and it's another dude. I'm thinking to myself, this is awkward. So I just walk up to the car and I get in the back seat. The man that I was talking to on Facebook, he was like, I'm so sorry, but it's a change of plans because I have to take him somewhere. And he was talking about his friend that was sitting in the passenger seat. I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is awkward, but I just went along with it. I told him, I was like, that's okay. He was telling me I look real beautiful in person and everything, and he's excited that he finally got to see me after a week of just texting on Facebook. So I'm sitting in the back of his car just smiling and blushing and everything. Everything was going smooth until we got to the highway. I'm thinking to myself, why is we driving on the highway? Where is we going? The dude that I was talking to on Facebook, I guess he seen the look on my face through his rearview mirror because I was back there looking like, I think I want to go home. He looked at me and he said, don't worry, I'm just dropping him off at his house. And he lives like 30 minutes away. I said, okay.
She then goes on to say she ends up at the guy's house. He ends up trying to get her to do stuff. She's like, no, this isn't what we were supposed to do. I thought we were going to the movies. The other friend that she was with was like, oh, I thought she was down with this the whole time. Turns out they had some kind of plan for her. I don't know if they were going to her or whatnot, but she basically was realized in that moment that she was in a horrible situation. I could have told you that. I'm sorry. But Then she ends up saying, can you please just take me home? I don't want to be here. They end up leaving her out. Like, they lock the door, they leave. And he's like, are you sure you want to leave without doing anything for me? And she's like, no, this is not what I wanted to do. They both end up leaving. They leave her on the side of the road. She has to call her mom. Her mom comes and picks her up. End of story. First off, I want to say I am so glad that this creator made it out of this situation very safe. And it could have ended up so horribly. And I'm very glad that she didn't and that she made it home in one piece. I am so glad that that happened, because a lot of times that is not how the story ends. With that being said, ladies, please never be so desperate for a man's attention that you're willing to overlook this many red flags. Where's the red flag guy when you need it? He would have been waving the red flag so high, because every minute I listened in this story, I could have said, why did you do that? Why did you do that? They were screaming at you and you ignored all of them. And I'm saying this from a place of frustration, because this could have ended up horribly in your case, and I'm glad it didn't. But this is the lesson in why you need to not be so googly-eyed for someone's attention that you're willing to overlook red flags and potentially put yourself in a dangerous situation. Now, as someone who mostly dated exclusively online before I met my fiance, and I am pro online dating, I get it if it's not your thing, because I do believe you can meet someone online, but you have to have safety measures in place. And I don't care who the man is, you never ever let a man pick you up from your house, your apartment, anywhere for a first meeting. And as someone who did it once and realized how stupid of a mistake it was, my old roommate never let me make that mistake again. And I will preach this. Never ever let a man pick you up at your house, your apartment. I don't care. You meet in a public place regardless. Second of all, the minute you saw that other man in the vehicle, why did you get in the vehicle? That alone was screaming, what the fuck is going on with this situation? Why is this man here if we're supposed to be on a date? Those two things together should have told you everything you needed to know, and you thought, oh, I'll get in because he's telling me this. You don't know what could have happened. That situation could have happened so much different than it did, and you were so lucky you made it out, and I'm thankful you did. But ladies, we have to be able to see these things, because most of us watching, and if you look in the comments, we were all like, girl, what were you doing? The flags were waving so high. Now, this was the first time I'd ever seen this creator on my For You page, and I was reading comments, and some people said that a lot of her stories are like this, and maybe she just doesn't get it. I don't know. I haven't watched any more of her content, but I just had to make a video on this, because as someone who believes in online dating, and for the right people, I get not everybody wants it, you can meet people safely. You just have to know how to put boundaries down. You have to know what to look out for. And if you ever end up in a situation where a man picks you up from somewhere and there's another man in the car, in the vehicle, that is such a red flag. And if you cannot see that, you could end up in a horrible situation. I am genuinely saying this from a place of love. Ladies, you absolutely need to know your worth. You need to know your worth. You need to set your boundaries. And if you are meeting men online, you have to be safe about it. And there are ways to do it. I give good tips on how to do safe online dating. But please, if you ever end up in a situation like this and he tells you to get in the car, say no. We've all seen too many true crime stories to know that how this ends.
Sometimes when we don't get invited to house parties, private beach hangouts, shindigs, get-togethers, we start feeling some kind of way, feeling like we're getting rejected, without realizing that in many cases, especially in this city, you're actually being saved from a world of hurt and pain. I want to talk about date grape culture in Lagos, particularly what happens before a girl gets date raped and what happens after the fact. Now, there are two places where a girl can end up getting date raped in Lagos. One is at a private beach party, and the second is at a private get-together or a shindig. So here's how it goes down. This girl gets invited to a house party or a beach party, and she only knows one person, the person who invited her. Now, there's a chance that other people who have been invited to this beach party or this house party are acquaintances, or she knows of them, but it's most likely that she's only friends with one person at the party, and that is the person who invited her. Now, in most cases, victims of date rape don't know they're about to be date raped, obviously, but in these cases, it's usually the person who invited her, the guy who's going to date rape her, and then maybe 2 or 3 other people at the party who know what's about to go down. Before the date rape even happens, the guy who invited her plus the guy who is already planning to date Grape her have already had a conversation about exactly what's going to happen. Every single thing that happens at that beach party or at that private get-together before the date Grape happens is pre-planned. Everything that happens after the date Grape happens is also pre-planned. So the only person who doesn't know what's going on is the soon-to-be victim. In addition to planning with the date Grapist, the planner and the Grapist will also work with other people in the group, and usually it's a mix of guys and girls. The reason why Grapists recruit girls to work for them is because they know that if their victim, comes out and says, I went to this party and I was great, they can count on those girls to slut shame her, call her names, spread rumors about her. Nothing is out of bounds for girls in those circles, and they do the same thing with the guys as well. At that point, all bets are off. If you've shared any private information with the guy who invited you, or any of the guys in that circle know anything about your sexual life or your sexual history, they are also going to slut shame you and begin to leak information about you. If you've ever recorded yourself being intimate with a guy you were dating or seeing, or whatever the case may be, they will leak that as well. They will pass it around their guys just to make it seem like you're a hoe and you were not raped, you're just lying, like you wanted it and now you're regretting it. This is something that happens every single time with victims of date rape especially. Now you arrive at the beach party, at the shindig, you're really excited. You look around the room and realize that you only know your friend, and maybe you know two other people there, but they are not your friends. So you realize that, man, I'm the odd one out, but they don't make you feel othered. Like, they're friendly to you. Your guy friend gives you a drink. Of course, that's your boy, so you don't even think twice about it. You take a drink, you take another one, and then at some point during the shindig, you realize that one of the guys is moving to you in a very subtle way. He's complimenting you, saying hi to you, he's charming, he's smiling. You're a little bit inebriated because you've been drinking, so your guard is down. And then at some point, you don't clock it immediately, but you notice that people just start to leave the room, right? In the case of a beach party, it's usually at a beach house. You find that people just start to slowly disperse, and then before you know it, it's just you and the guy that is moving to you, standing and talking. Now, this is where things switch. The guy then offers you a drink, or he says, oh, can I make you a drink? I'd love us to talk a bit more. Can we go somewhere private just to chat? You don't think nothing of it. Obviously, you don't know where everybody has gone to. You hear voices, but you don't know where everybody has gone to. If it's in a house, they're probably like in a different room, depending on how big the house is. You accept the drink, you're not thinking anything of it, you have the drink, and then almost instantaneously you know that there's something wrong, you're feeling a little bit woozy, and then you black out, and that's the last thing that you remember. Now, after the drug has taken effect and you wake up from the blackout, you're going to wake up in one or two places. One, you're going to wake up in somebody's room in the house, either your friend's room. Of course, it's going to say, oh, I just wanted to keep you safe and away from the party because you passed out drunk. So you're either going to wake up in your friend's room or in the guest room. If you're on the beach, you're going to wake up at your friend's house. So they're going to move you from the beach while you were passed out drunk after you've been raped by either one guy or multiple guys, and they're going to take you back to your friend's house. When you wake up, you're going to be aware that something happened to you, but you're not sure. Now, depending on what you were wearing the night before, you should actually take a look at yourself. If like one item of your clothing is missing, or your jeans look weird, maybe they're not buttoned properly, or your top is off, or you just feel like you're a little bit exposed, you were raped, you were assaulted while you were passed out. That was the whole point. That's why you were drugged. You were drugged so that one guy or multiple guys at that party could take advantage of you. Now, depending on the kind of guys you're dealing with, the guy who raped you could have recorded or taken pictures, or other guys who were involved could have done the same. But again, not all of them do that. Some of them just do it and they pass it around that you gave it up and you had a train run on you at a beach party or at a private party and you're such a whore, and they'll move on from that. But the ones who take pictures and videos will pass it around in their private group chats. Now, when the effects of the drug starts to wear off, your memories will start coming back and you find yourself realizing that you were assaulted. And the first thing you want to do is, raise the alarm, right? Let me offer you a different option, okay? I am pro reporting, but when it comes to date rape, being drugged, sexual assault in this country, you have to move wisely. Okay, so I'm not saying don't blow the whistle, but blow the whistle with some wisdom. Now, because there's a post plan after the Grape, they are expecting you to reach out to your friend who invited you to say that you feel like something happened to you. Do not reach out to that guy. If anyone from the party sends you a message, hey, we met last night, I had a really great time with you, my name is la 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 la, do not respond, because they're all a part of it. Instead, I would actually advise you speak to your friends outside of that circle, right? And if you don't have those friends, it's time to start making them. Go to a hospital and get a rape kit done. Let the doctors know that you believe you were sexually assaulted and drugged the night before, and you need to test what's in your system, your blood, do a full blood work. This is before you even sound the alarm. After you've done all that and you have your results, then you go to the police and you file a report. Okay, usually when you go to the beach or to a get together, you take photos, unless they take your phone from you or they say something weird like, oh, no photos. At that point, you should know that that's a red flag, and anyone who is telling you as an adult that you can't take photos at a party, yeah, you should get the fuck out of that house. But anyways, show photos and be like, this is the guy that I spoke to, this is what happened, these are the results from my rape kit, they found this in my system, they found that in my system. File a clean and clear police report. Then after that, you are well within your rights to go on a public platform like TikTok or whatever else, or you can start to share it more with your friends more openly and say, hey, this thing happened to me, I was raped, these are the things that went down, and this is where I woke up, my clothes were missing, or my panties were gone, or my top was in disarray, or I just felt off, I felt like I can't remember anything. That's when you now start to talk openly. But one thing you must never do is go to the guy who invited you. That is not your friend. You should block him immediately. And the second thing you should not do is reach out to the person that raped you. Whether you guys exchange numbers or not, that is not your business. Do not text, do not call. Just go through the police and hospital first, and then inform your friends and your loved ones before you decide to take it public. So to all my girlies who love to go to the beach, who love a really good private beach party or like a private shindig, try not to accept drinks from strangers, and if you want to drink, make sure you pour it yourself. If you're at a get-together where you do not know anybody except the person who invited you, and there's like an imbalance in guys versus girls, you should actually leave, or you should try not to get too drunk that you don't remember anything.
Let me tell you something, ladies. Personally, I've never been SA'd, but let me tell you, I sympathize with people who have gone through it. And let me tell you, this video is to spread awareness about one of the categories of this grape called date rape. Let me tell you something. I never knew that. Okay, I knew you can get raped on a date, but I didn't know that there was a term for this thing. You know, that's what I mean by saying I did not know this thing exists. Let me tell you, graping someone, whether it's a woman or a man, it does a lot of damage to them. And let me tell you, ladies, from now on, going forward, when you go for dates, when you leave your house, always carry some sort of weapon, because some of these men are out here to collect souls. It's like a collection, like I unalived 6 women, like it's a collection for them. Your life is a game for them. So don't gamble with your life. Never gamble with your life. Always be aware. And let me tell you, some of these parents are the reason why their kids end up being SA'd as children, which I'm doing a video for next. Let me tell you, some of these women, you find that you have bad experiences from when you are a child going forward to when you're an adult. Like, it's just so sad. It's just so sad. Like, hey, let me tell you, personally, if you've never been SA'd, if you've never been exposed to those environments, just thank God. As a child, I used to wonder why my dad didn't want us to like go to relatives or to interact with his side. He's never introduced us to his side of this family. Okay, he has introduced us to some of the family, but not all. So I used to wonder, but after I became a parent, after I've become an adult, like after dealing with a lot of mean people, like I don't want to deal with anyone anymore. I only want to deal with people who bring me joy. Like, and I'm serious about protecting my peace, because people will make you angry. And let me tell you, ladies, please educate me. How are men graped? When you grape a man, I always knew men are drugged and stolen from, but I never knew a man can be date raped. Like how does it, unless it's with another man, I don't see how a woman can do it. Like, do you make that stick stand on its own, or what happens there? Like, I don't relate to that, you know. And you know, it's very weird whenever, like, it can be funny whenever you're walking outside a club and the man is knocked out and you're the one supporting him, and maybe he's of course heavier than you, you know. I don't know, but please educate me. This is not a joke, by the way. Please educate me about that. And something that I've learned from this video about keeping yourself safe from date rape or from predators is carrying test strips to test for drugs in drinks. I think that is genius. I've never heard about it before, but I think that is genius. Let me tell you also another thing. The lady who says that after being date raped, she told her parents, and her parents told her it's her fault, you know, blah 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 blah. Like I've said, people who have a history of say find themselves in the wrong situations sometimes. I don't know why, but I don't know whether it's linked. I don't know why, but I've had these stories whereby people who have been raped as adults or raped as adults were also raped as children. I don't know what's the link between that, but I believe there's something there. Anyway, like the woman says that whenever she told her dad or her mom, like they told her it's her fault, she should have known better. Let me tell you, that is the worst thing you can tell someone you love. That is the worst thing you can tell someone who has chosen to tell you such things. Like whenever someone opens up about such a story, they have really thought about opening up. So why would you react? Why would you make them feel as if they don't belong, as if they should have done something? Like why would you make them feel bad about it? Why not comfort them, especially when it's your child? Let me tell you something. You know what's crazy about that statement is that I relate to it so much. Me growing up, I've always known like no one can come to my aid. I'm sorry, but me after my mom passed away, I've always felt like an orphan. Let me just say that. Like I don't even have a relationship with my dad that I can say that, oh, we are friends or we have a relation, or he'll come through for me whenever I'm in trouble. No, I don't have that sort of relationship. The sort of relationship we have is hi, like not even hi. I don't know. We literally don't have any relationship. The relationship is dead. Let me just say the truth. But the only thing remaining is I have respect for him. That's it. I don't know whether he has respect for me or he cares about me. I don't know, but all I can say is that he was a good provider growing up. Like he provided for us, he educated us. He did the right things he was supposed to do as a father, but not as a husband. That's what I'll say. Anyway, let me stop being messy. Let me stop spilling my own tea. Anyway, ladies, like I can relate to that. My dad has always been that sort of a person whereby if you get in trouble, you're on your own. So it really fuels this hyper independence about you, whereby you're always hyper independent. Even in a situation whereby you're just supposed to wait for someone to carry a load to your car, you're just like, so will he do it? Will she do it? I don't know, but it's such a bad place to be in. By the way, I'm trying to like let go of it slowly by slowly. Right now that I have a pattern, slowly by slowly. But let me tell you, some of these things growing up or hearing some of these things growing up, it makes it so hyper vigilant, so hyper independent, so aggressive. Let me tell you something. I don't have much to say about this video. I believe everything has been said, but I applaud the teacher who was lecturing his students about date rape in this video. Like I applaud that. We need to educate our children about these things. We need, especially the boys. Like who educates these boys? The boys need to be educated about accepting rejection, not relating rejection to their own inadequacies, because that's what makes men jump on women and date rape women and just destroy women overall. Like my heart goes out to you if you've gone through this. Personally, I cannot relate. I cannot say like I know how it is or blah blah. I don't know anyone who has been done that, but hey, I really have a very bad story. But that is in my next video about CSA, child sexual assault. But hey, let me tell you, my heart goes out to you, and take heart. If this has happened to you, please improve on your security measures. Please like protect yourself. Be very hyper aware of your surroundings and keep off from a lot of people. And please always don't go into situations whereby you know you lose your ability to think clearly whenever you're drunk and you're with people who you don't really trust. Like never do that. Anyway, ladies, have a nice day and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.